Unferth brings the strange little goblin to the next war council that evening. Terbjornsson looks the creature up and down as it strides across the ground to stand before him. It offers up the blood-red stone to him, and as the room gazes upon it, they hear a voice echo in their heads. Many of them recoil at this sorcery, but Terbjornsson listens carefully. The Old One tells him that they share an enemy, a particular group that caused them a great deal of trouble not so long ago. Steelshod, Terbjornsson says, guessing immediately. The disjointed voice agrees, identifies its primary targets, of which there are 3. The leader, whose flesh and spirit are both ironclad, chosen champion of a newly born fledgling god he feels no kinship to, Alexander. The zealot, the embodiment of this upstart god's skulking, cowardly machinations, Yoren. And the priestess deeply connected to her fool's god, with his presence within her, Elena. Terbjornsson agrees he wants these 3 dead as well, but he questions the usefulness of the small, pitiful creature before him. A hunter you called him, and you have others? Terbjornsson asks. Our hunters will find them, rasps the voice in their heads, but we will break them. Will you? They are not easily broken, it seems, the Jarl of Jarls says. Who are you to question us? The Old One castigates him for his impertinence. We will undo them. We will not just kill their bodies. First we will kill their souls. They came to this place to protect an edifice of their fledgling god. We will destroy it, and they will know it was us that did so. And when the time comes, we will come for them as well. We will be their doom. The word doom takes on a special meaning. Astute listeners may realize that the word spoken was not doom at all, not in any tongue, and yet it was unmistakable. The word seems fuller, more complex than the simple word, and yet simpler, pure, a distillation of a concept down to a simple word. Doom itself, in a word. When the word echoes across the war council, nearly everyone present is shaken down to their core. The sensation of doom settles over them. Dread, hopelessness, misery, doom in its purest, most crystalline form. Most of the assembled warriors, strategists, and generals crumple beneath it, falling to their knees or locking in place. They weep or stare unseeing into an empty distance. Cyril is no exception. He closes his eyes, shuddering, momentarily lost in a spiral of despair, wishing he was home with his wife. Only 2 figures seem to resist this feeling. Terbjornsson, of course. He stands tall, resolute, observing the reaction dispassionately, considering the words of the Old One. Surprisingly, the other one to withstand the crushing psychic assault is Abelosakapus. The old man sits on his seat, hunched over the battle map, quavering with tremors as he always does. But he seems unaffected by the word. Interesting, he rasps in Kasseline. To Terbjornsson he murmurs, Thalmati, I wager. There is one other odd reaction amongst the assembled. Unferth feels the doom. It takes root into him, and worming into his heart, he finds the feeling intense, and, in a way, pleasurable. And that word was so beautiful, so perfect. The word tumbles around in his mind as he analyzes it, caressing the syllables, running his tongue and teeth as he begins to taste it. Plan asks if, given Unferth's gift of the all-tongue, he might have a chance to learn this new word. The prospect of Unferth going off to study Thalmati is fascinating to me. So sure. I tell him to roll an all-tongue check. I should have known. I might as well let our man Jesus write this story for us, since he gives us some of our best story moments. Yeah. Unferth rolls a natural 20 on his all-tongue. He just learned the Thalmadi word for doom. The word that forms the foundational concept of doom itself, that when spoken, can shape the world to fit the will of the speaker. My mind begins spinning at this, considering the possibilities, what this just opened us up for. Meanwhile, Terbjornsson acknowledges that the Old Ones appear to have power. He is willing to work with the Hunters for now, if it means they will help break Nahash and kill Steelshod. The Hunter offers up the blood-red stone to Terbjornsson. The Old One explains that the stone allows them to speak directly to him. Terbjornsson declines. The Jarl looks over to Unferth, who dropped this potential ally and potential problem into his lap, tells Unferth to take the stone and serve as the liaison between the Old Ones and the Svards. Unferth readily accepts. The War Council collects themselves, and they plan their next move. The cityscape leading up to the canals and the river gate is well tread and leveled by now, allowing relatively swift maneuvering by heavy troops. Terbjornsson wants to plan a heavy assault on the river gate and the bridge gate, with a reserve force probing the farmers' gate to ensure the defenders keep their forces split across the walls. Later that evening, Unferth takes the gem back to his tent. The Old One senses something different in Unferth. Something wrong about him. Unferth tells them he is called soulless, and that he has brought his measure of doom to many mortal men across the years. The Old One is shocked to hear Unferth so flawlessly parrot back the word. "You study our ways?" the voice asks. "No," Unferth explains. "I just liked the taste of it, the feel of it." The Old One probes Unferth's mind a little deeper, discovers how easily Unferth has adapted his thinking to accommodate the new word. Thalmadi magic, as I have explained out of character, as Hubert knew when he shied away from studying the texts himself and gave the task to Jaspar, is dangerous. It's dangerous on two fronts. Physically taxing, mortal bodies are not meant to harness the fundamental power of creation, and they can quickly be ravaged by overuse. And mentally corrupting. Thalmadi magic warps and twists the minds of the weak-willed. It plays on passions and desires, hopes and dreams, twisting them and reshaping them, slowly turning you into, well, one of the Thalmadi perhaps, or at least what they themselves became. Here's the thing. Unferth is a berserk, physically superhuman, imbued by Tear with accelerated strength, fortitude, and healing, able to take a near-mortal arrow wound to the chest and be back in fighting trim in a few days. And Unferth is soulless, dispassionate, not bored and empty the way Terbjornsson is, where he has burned away all normal hopes and desires and replaced them with revenge, but truly, utterly empty. He is dead inside, seeking nihilistic destruction of the mind, of humanity and civilization, elevating the reduction of humanity to base animal instincts. Unferth, the Old One marvels, may just be the perfect man. They have never before touched a mind, body, and spirit so perfectly suited to taking on Thalmadi magic. Unferth asks if there are more words like doom that they know. More? The voice sounds almost amused. Oh yes, soulless. There are many more. So many more. Thank you for tuning in to Steelshod, a series by Mostly Rights, narrated by Tailforge. You can find every chapter in text format, as well as character sheets, setting information, maps, and rule documents on the Steelshod tabletop system in the link below. If you'd like to support the channel, you can pop down to the description and use the Patreon link for recurring donations, the paypal.me link for one-time donations, the Teespring link for shirts with the incredibly cool background art by Nobody, or use the DriveThruRPG affiliate link the next time you're looking to try a new system. If you'd like to support the author, you can find Steelshod merch on the mostlyrights.com store, or donate to the Mostly Rights Patreon, which are both linked on reddit.com/r/mostlyrights down below.